Testing audio, check, check, 1, 2, check. Good evening, everyone out there. It's just after 8 o'clock Central Time. I'm going to get on 40 meters here in just a little bit. Test out the new mic and the new streaming setup. Let's see how we sound for this in before I get started. Sounded good on that end, so I guess let's get started. Sometimes it takes a little bit to get a couple calls out there on CQ. Man's been kind of up and down tonight. I made a call with, or a contact with, what was the gentleman's name? It was Kilo Charlie 9. Yeah, Kilo Charlie 9. Charlie Uniform Kilo, who is also on YouTube. Very great guy. Eric, I believe it was. Made a great contact with him, and he sent me an email just not long after that with information to contact him at, so that was pretty cool. Alright, so I've been listening to 7.260 on 40 meters for a good while now. I haven't heard anything, so I'll turn the volume up here, turn the power up a little bit, and check and see if the frequency is in use. Is this frequency in use? This is November 5, Whiskey X-Ray Whiskey, N5WXW. Check and see if the frequency is in use. November 5, Whiskey X-Ray Whiskey. Is this frequency in use? Nothing heard so far. Any relays in there, let me know. November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey. Is this frequency in use? November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey. Is this frequency in use? Kind of getting used to this new mic. It's really cool. Just a little different for me. November 5, Whiskey X-Ray Whiskey. Is this frequency in use? I definitely got to get a paddle for my feet so I can tone up without having this loud microphone in this loud microphone in that microphone. Alright, CQ, CQ, CQ. This is November 5, Whiskey X-Ray Whiskey, N5WXW, calling CQ on 40 meters tonight. November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey, calling CQ, CQ, CQ on 40 meters. This is November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey, calling CQ, CQ, CQ. CQ40, CQ40, CQ40. This is November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey, N5WXW, calling CQ. CQ40, CQ40, anyone, anywhere. November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey, calling CQ and listening. CQ40, CQ40, CQ40. This is November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey, calling CQ. CQ, CQ40. This is November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey, calling CQ. Band's been really up and down tonight. That contact I made with Kilo Charlie 9, Charlie Uniform Kilo, I believe it was. I have to double check on that. It was really up and down. He gave me a 5.5 to 5.7. Maximum sometimes, so but it fade right in and out, so we'll get lucky tonight if I get anything while I'm testing out the live stream. November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey, calling CQ, CQ, CQ on 40 meters. November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey, N5WXW, calling CQ from beautiful Flintville, Tennessee tonight. anyone, anywhere. November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey. By the way, guys, I know I don't have a camera on it right now. I'm on 7.260. 7.260 on 40 meters. CQ, CQ, CQ. This is November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey. N5WXW calling CQ on 40. CQ40, CQ40, CQ40. This is November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey calling CQ, anyone, anywhere. CQ40, CQ40, CQ40. This is November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey. N5WXW, November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey, calling CQ, CQ, CQ. I hear what may be a station way down in the noise there. Can't pull you out of there. November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey, calling CQ, CQ, CQ. Either hearing some interference or someone just way down there. CQ40, CQ40, CQ40. This is November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey. N5WXW calling CQ40, 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 CQ40 from November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey. CQ, CQ, CQ. This is November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey calling CQ40, CQ40, CQ40. November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey calling CQ, anyone, anywhere. CQ, CQ, CQ from November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey, N5WXW calling CQ from beautiful Flintville, Tennessee tonight. CQ, CQ, CQ from November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey. Hey Todd, how's it going? Hopefully the new mic sounds a lot better tonight. Got the camera in a little bit different angle. My radio corner over here is a little difficult to get just the radios into one shot, so hopefully it looks pretty good. CQ40, CQ40, CQ40 from November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey, anyone, anywhere, calling CQ, CQ, CQ from November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey. My noise level is awesome. Thanks, Todd. Thanks for the report there. We had a really good contact earlier with a gentleman up in close to Chicago, Eric, I believe it was, and it would go from a 5.5 to a 5.7 to nothing. Just would completely drop out. So I don't think the band conditions are all that great, but it's always kind of fun trying to fight through the static. CQ40, 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 anyone, anywhere. This is November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey, calling CQ, CQ, CQ. CQ40, CQ40, CQ40 from November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey, N5WXW calling CQ. CQ, CQ, CQ from November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey, N5WXW calling CQ, CQ, CQ. Todd, I've been streaming for a little over 10 minutes now. It hasn't been too terribly long. Just trying to see if there's anybody on the frequency. I'm on 7.260 for anybody listening. Uh, 40 meters has been real spotty. It's been really good, then really bad, then really good, then really bad. So we'll see how this goes. CQ, CQ, CQ from November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey, N5WXW calling CQ. KF0CFR, good evening to you. How's it going this evening? CQ40, CQ40, CQ40 from November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey, N5WXW calling CQ, anyone, anywhere. And again, I definitely got to get a panel for my mic here. Here in a station down in the noise there, I can't pull you out there. November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey, calling CQ, CQ, CQ. Thank you so much, sir. Todd, I can do 75 and 80. The only problem is I don't have my wire set up for it right now. I used to have just an 80 meter wire that I had up, but I've got a 10 through 40 meter wire right now. A dipole that's up there. I really want to get, kind of like you're saying there, that 75 and 80 meters, because especially this time of night, that would be awesome to have. So CQ, CQ, CQ from November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey, N5WXW calling CQ. CQ40, CQ40, CQ40 from November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey, N5WXW calling CQ, 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 anyone, anywhere. Charlie Romeo Foxtrot there. I'm running up ICOM 725. It was actually my first radio, and it's an early 90s model, but it served me really well. I really want to update to, say like something like the ICOM 7300 one day, but this thing has done really awesome. I use it a lot for FT8, and it's a real workhorse. It's served me. It's been awesome. It was my first HF rig, and I've just been sticking with it. So it's pretty cool to use. It does 100 watts of anywhere from 10 to 160 meters, but I'm limited to 10 to 40 right now with the antenna I have. CQ40, CQ40, CQ40 from November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey, N5WXW calling CQ. Anyone, anywhere. This is November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey calling CQ. Thank you so much for the doing good there. Yeah, it's been kind of a test here to see how I got a lot of the equipment. The only thing I didn't have was this mic here, and I think it's going to really help out. I'm going to try and get the actual radio audio into the stream as well. That's kind of a little bit of a work in progress, especially with this older rig. I've got to find the right connections and all that to get it actually into the computer. So. CQ, CQ, CQ from November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey calling CQ40, CQ40, CQ40 from November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey. Yeah, like I said, it's just a little bit noisy tonight. Okay, Todd, so you're saying when I get right up just really close to the mic there, it sounds the best, huh? Let me angle it up just a little bit here. This is a great boom mic that Joe had suggested. CQ, CQ, CQ from November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey, N5WXW calling CQ on 40 meters, CQ, CQ, CQ from November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey. CQ40, CQ40, CQ40 from November 5 Whiskey X-Ray Whiskey. N5WXW calling CQ, 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 and standing by. Okay, yeah, so that'll be something to note. I got to get into the habit of that. I'm so used to having kind of a kind of an all-room sound type mic. I'm not used to having something that's real close proximity like this. So yeah, it'll definitely be something I'll have to be getting used to. That's for sure. So. Well, it's great to have everybody on tonight that's joined. That's pretty awesome. I was kind of just starting out something to just kind of test with, so it's pretty cool, though. I've really enjoyed this. I know it's going to be better once things kind of spike up and the band gets a little bit better, so definitely get some conversations going on. I gotta get up at the status with Alex K7HU. Get up there with him, so. Okay, awesome. That's thank you for letting me know that, Ty, because I can't tell that on this end. So that's awesome though. November 5 Whiskey X-Ray Whiskey calling CQ, CQ, CQ on 40 meters. November 5 Whiskey X-Ray Whiskey calling CQ. Anyone, anywhere. This is November 5 Whiskey X-Ray Whiskey calling CQ. And again, guys, just a relay. I'm on 7.260. 7.260. I need to get a camera that's actually going to show the face of the radio there so everybody can kind of follow along with what frequency I'm on. Yeah, I'd love to incorporate a mic that's basically mounted on the same one. That way I can just use a paddle. I love that, Todd. This is November 5 Whiskey X-Ray Whiskey calling CQ, CQ, CQ on 40 meters. November 5 Whiskey X-Ray Whiskey calling CQ, 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 and standing by. I gotcha. Yeah, perseverance, even through the static. Yeah, I figured he's been at it a while. There, Todd. Yeah, he's. I know some people say they'll call CQ for over an hour and still not get anybody. So some nights are just like that, and some are better. So I'm really trying to push through and do the voice thing. I really enjoy it when I can do it. Been stuck behind a keyboard doing digital for a little bit too long. Definitely need some practice at this. That's for sure. You can't definitely. It's kind of hard to just jump on the radio there and just kind of do it. You hear a lot of people do it and call in CQ, but there's a little bit of an art to it. CQ, CQ, CQ from November 5 Whiskey X-Ray Whiskey. N5WXW calling CQ from beautiful Flintville, Tennessee tonight. Anyone, anywhere. This is November 5 Whiskey X-Ray Whiskey calling CQ. Yeah, that's something I'm going to be working on. There's a speaker output on the back of the radio. I want to split it between a speaker that's my speaker system that's set up on the desktop here so I can hear it really well, and then also have an input going into the stream itself. That way I've got both. I know it's kind of in the background there and it's really hard to hear. Tonight it's just a lot of static on the frequency, but yeah, I'm gonna do similar to other ones where they have or other streams that I've seen where they actually have a dedicated feed just for the radio. So we're gonna kind of mesh those two together there when I can. CQ40, CQ40, CQ40 from November 5 Whiskey X-Ray Whiskey. N5WXW calling CQ, CQ, CQ. Anyone, anywhere. This is November 5 Whiskey X-Ray Whiskey. Joey, you got me cracking up there. Oh, that's great. Get it, Dale. I mean, oh, I love that. I love that. That's awesome. Yeah, those camera shots Todd, are a little bit of an art, especially in an area where everything I have is in a corner. If I put my cameras on my equipment, you never see the equipment, so. I know, right? I gotta put my professional face on now that Joe's in here. We got the master of live streams in my stream now. CQ40, CQ40, CQ40. This is November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey, N5WXW, calling CQ. Anyone, anywhere listening. This is November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey, calling CQ. Yeah, exactly. I was telling Todd earlier, you know, I hear some people talk about calling CQ for, you know, 1 or 2 hours and not having anything. So, but I made a good contact with a gentleman, that guy that I posted in Discord, Eric, I believe it was. In the way. Oh, you're talking about, okay, yeah, you're talking about the camera angles, yeah. Yeah, I need like 3. I need 1 on the radio itself, I need 1 on myself, and this one's just kind of an overall general radio equipment view. So yeah, I definitely gotta get it up there, so, and get more cameras in the system. I gotta add more USB ports, I guess. Backstory to anybody that was not in on that, I had to add a USB card to this computer because I had so many USB inputs on it. I've got a signal link, I've got keyboard, mice, audio equipment. We're piling it on here. CQ40, CQ40, CQ40 from November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey, N5WXW, calling CQ, CQ, CQ on 40 meters. Anyone, anywhere, this is November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey. God, the noise I've got is like an S4, S5 tonight. It's super noisy. Like I said, I thought it'd be a long shot, but I really wanted to test out the stream, and I just got this mic today, so I was really excited to get it on the air. I feel like I hear somebody down in there, but it's just really, really noisy tonight. Joe, I was kind of trying to repeat that as much as I could because I don't have a camera on it, but it's 7.260. 7.260 is what I'm calling on right now. CQ40, CQ40, CQ40 from November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey. N5WXW calling CQ, CQ, CQ. Anyone, anywhere, this is November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey calling CQ and standing by. Which, unfortunately, all I got's a dipole out there, 10 to 40 meter dipole, and facing north to south. So unfortunately, I don't have a beam that I can just point to anyone in particular. But you know what? If we get enough viewers on these live streams, maybe one day that can be funded. Need a rotor and a beam to do that. Thankfully, I've already got the tower to do it with, though. I don't know if I got enough space for a 40 meter beam, but we can make something work. CQ, CQ, CQ from November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey, N5WXW calling CQ, CQ, CQ on this beautiful night from Southern Tennessee. November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey calling CQ, CQ, CQ and standing by. I gotcha. Well, thank you for at least attempting the call there, Joe. I know I've done the same thing with you multiple times. There's sometimes I can hear you and sometimes I can't hear you, so. It's all good, Joe. Some days we can type, some days we can't. I swear, I either hear somebody in the distance that's doing their own thing and having their own conversation and I just can't read it out, or somebody's trying to come through there. Whoops. Sorry, I hit the mic there. CQ40, CQ40, CQ40 from November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey, N5WXW calling CQ. Anyone, anywhere, this is November 5, Whiskey, X-Ray Whiskey calling CQ, CQ, CQ and standing by. Yeah, Joe, you gotta make it an official hello, not an unofficial one. Oh, okay, no wonder I went from like 0 to 4 people instantly. Todd put in the put out the word there. Okay, well at least you don't hear it. I'm always worried about that. I'm that skittish person that calls and makes sure a frequency's clear, and I'm afraid that a bunch of people are on that frequency, and I just can't hear them, and then I start calling CQ, and then I'm invading their party. So CQ40, CQ40, CQ40 from November 5 Whiskey X-Ray Whiskey N5WXW calling CQ, CQ, CQ. This is November 5 Whiskey X-Ray Whiskey calling CQ and standing by. I know, Joe. I feel the same way. Whenever I watch your stream and stuff, I feel like it's a FaceTime or something, and I should be able to talk back to you with a regular video stream there. Yeah, thank you for that, Todd. That's awesome. Thank you. I'll tell you what, it's crazy. Like I said, the gentleman I talked to in Chicago, Kilo Charlie 9, Kilo Uniform, Charlie Uniform Kilo. There we go. Gosh, let me pull up his site real quick. You know what? I'll put a plug in for somebody else here real quick. It's Kilo Charlie 9, Kilo Uniform Kilo. Eric up in up close to Chicago, they've got their own YouTube channel. It's called The Wingnuts. They meet on 7.230. I believe he said every Sunday and Monday, if I remember that correctly. But yeah, just give a little plug to them. They're really nice. There's their channel. That's another thing too. I gotta work on the camera and the screens. They just don't jive too well. CQ40, CQ40, CQ40 from November 5 Whiskey X-Ray Whiskey N5WXW calling CQ, CQ, CQ from November 5 Whiskey X-Ray Whiskey calling CQ. Thank you. Thank you for the recommendation on this mic, by the way. I saw you were using that. I wasn't trying to use the exact same thing, but it was a deal. I recorded some audio with it earlier today, just testing out how I needed to have it. But yeah, for $30, this mic is just performing. I could have swore all the times that I saw you streaming, Joe, that you were going to tell me that it was like a $200 or $300 mic. CQ40, CQ40, CQ40 from November 5 Whiskey X-Ray Whiskey N5WXW calling CQ, CQ, CQ on 40 meters. This is November 5 Whiskey X-Ray Whiskey. Probably give it a minute or two here, and then I'm going to probably hop off if I don't get anybody else that comes on or gets on the frequency there. See, I made you crack up on all those live streams, and now I'm getting it back at me. I see what you're doing there, Joe. Yeah, I'm glad to have you guys on tonight. It's been a lot of fun, especially after a long day of work. And technically, partially a long day of getting some of this stuff set up. Getting this computer right, it's been a little bit of a chore, but it has been well worth it to have everything prepared for, say, like tonight when I'm ready to go quote unquote on air. CQ40, CQ40, CQ40 from November 5 Whiskey X-Ray Whiskey N5WXW calling CQ, CQ, CQ. November 5 Whiskey X-Ray Whiskey calling CQ, CQ, CQ and standing by. I potentially hear a station way, what on my end sounds like way down in the noise there. This is November 5 Whiskey X-Ray Whiskey. Let's see if you could try it again there, if that is somebody down there trying to reach back out. I swear I keep hearing somebody. Okay. See, that's what I was talking about earlier too. If I get another mic, I'm either going to do, or for the radio at least, I'm going to do something that's either a headset or have a mic that I can mount next to this mic on the boom. That way I'm talking directly, kind of in the same direction there. CQ, CQ, CQ from November 5 Whiskey X-Ray Whiskey. N5WXW calling CQ, CQ, CQ on 40 meters. This is November 5 Whiskey X-Ray Whiskey. Anyone, anywhere calling CQ. Yeah, honestly, I think that besides back when I was tornado chasing, I think this is the longest stream I've ever done. You guys have been keeping it going. It's awesome. Man, Todd, Joe stays on the radio. It is just, I'm trying to get on. I'm trying to get on Joe's level. Besides, you know, sneaking in some FT8 contacts during the day while I'm working, if I got some off time, but that doesn't count. We're only counting voice here. CQ40, CQ40, CQ40. This is November 5, Whiskey X-Ray Whiskey, calling CQ, CQ, CQ. CQ from November 5, Whiskey X-Ray Whiskey, calling CQ, CQ, CQ. Anyone, anywhere. This is November 5, Whiskey X-Ray Whiskey, calling CQ and standing by. Yeah, he has been busy. I definitely commend him on the work he does. I've got a lot of family members that are in the same line of work, and it's not the easiest thing in the world, so props to Joe. Hey, it's been the holidays, too. I think we've all been a little busy. I got you there, Joe. Yeah. Hopefully the lag time's not too bad on the chat there. It looks like I know you were recommending the I've got OBS with the stream tool you were. I've lost it as far the stream elements. It seems like it's a little bit faster than the actual YouTube Studio. I've got both of them up here, just kind of watching stuff. So. CQ40, CQ40, CQ40. This is November 5, Whiskey X-Ray Whiskey, calling CQ, 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 CQ. From November 5, Whiskey X-Ray Whiskey, calling CQ and standing by for anyone listening. I'm kind of waiting on that one guy with like a kilowatt amplifier to just come booming into this room at any moment. It's just gonna blow my speakers off. You always tune to those guys, but you're just waiting on them to pop up. Got a local station on a repeater here. Yeah, and again, thank you guys for all the help and motivation on getting this project done. It's or getting it going. I'll put it that way. Sounds like somebody testing out a rig that's a little bit too far away, or something's going on with this. That's one thing about having a really tall antenna on a FM signal is you get other frequencies. I'm monitoring 147.030 right now, but I think there's a repeater 100 miles or more away, and every once in a while I hear it key up. CQ40, CQ40, CQ40 from November 5, Whiskey X-Ray Whiskey, N5WXW calling CQ, CQ, CQ from November 5, Whiskey X-Ray Whiskey. Anyone, anywhere. This is November 5, Whiskey X-Ray Whiskey calling CQ and standing by. CQ40, CQ40, CQ40. This is November 5, Whiskey X-Ray Whiskey, N5WXW, calling CQ, CQ, CQ. From November 5, Whiskey X-Ray Whiskey, calling CQ and standing by. Okay. Yeah, that's not bad as far as the. Sorry, I saw your comment come in there, but I figured I'd get a couple CQs in there. And I'm definitely getting some practice tonight. That's for sure. I only had 3 of those stickers. Oh, okay. You're talking about the it was the stickers from Alex there. This is November 5 Whiskey X-Ray Whiskey. Was calling CQ, nothing heard at this point, so I think I'm going to give the frequency back to anybody who wants it. This is November 5 Whiskey X-Ray Whiskey. I will be clear. I forgot if it's you guys remind me of the Q code for that, or gonna be clear or off the radio. I forget. I don't think it's is it QSY? I think QSY is a different frequency there. Yeah, that's not cheap for those stickers. I've looked at getting some custom stuff for myself. I mean, like, you know, just a hat, or even just a the typical ham radio call sign, not like lapel, but the name tag. There we go. Name tag's the word I was trying to get at. QRT. There we go. QRT. There's so many Qs in there. I gotta. Again, this is why I'm doing it. I need the practice. Yeah, those that gear is definitely not cheap, especially it adds up. I know I was looking at the price of QSL carts because I needed to get some new ones, and I went with I believe it was thanks Todd, that means a lot. Thank you. Glad you guys are in here listening and kind of helping me out with this. That means a lot. But yeah, I was looking at cheap QSL. Those dang Qs. I think it's cheapqsl.com or something like that was the name of the brand, but I ordered a bunch from them and they were great. And I sent them exactly what I wanted. They sent me a proof, and they were like, "We'll mail them out tomorrow." So, but great company to work with so far. And it wasn't bad. I think it was $20 or $30 for 100 cards, which was awesome. And I think I just put that same picture that I've put on my profile for everything else on there. So, but yeah, I figured I'd go ahead and get me a couple since I'm trying to do this a little bit more often, and I'd love to have some cards to send out. I know Joe was talking about it on his stream a little while back about sending out, well, not sending out some cards. I think it was having his cards on the wall, and I've gotten a couple, but they were mainly from when I just started out, and I was in a kind of the Worked All States group, just trying to get a couple of contacts in with some other people, and they sent me some cards, and I sent some back, and but they were really cool to have, and I really, really want to get back into doing that. So. Yeah, the camera does not like the white screen, that's for sure. If it's dark, it's okay, but if it's bright, I may have to tone down the colors on the screen just to get it to work right. That's another reason I left this up here with the chat and everything. So, you know, it's not a bad price. 1,000 of them for $75 is not bad. Okay, so you split up the 500 and 500. Yeah, that's a really good idea. I'm just always afraid to order 1,000 or something because when I get my extra, I may change my call and take a letter out and see if N5WX is available or something. So I don't want to do anything too rational just yet. Yeah, Ty, you need to get designing there, buddy. You know, send it in the group and we'll throw you some ideas if you want them. Oh, yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Yeah, I would do it, but it's just, you know, and I've done them before, and I thought about printing them myself, but when it comes to, like, all the stuff that we had to print for us and the kids for school and all that, yeah, yeah, I don't know if I have the ink. You know what? Instead of calling CQ, let's see if we can even hear anybody tonight. Sorry, Joe. This is a little bit of that older technology that I know you're not accustomed to right now. I'm having to turn the dial though. You guys in your fancy 7300s and stuff. See, this group on 7.228, I could hear them clear as day earlier, and you can tell they're running an amplifier too, and they're still having trouble. 7.275. Let me check that out.
Oh, absolutely. Same on my end, Dana. Got some 10 over F9. Beautiful audio. And that sounds like that dude. It's good to trick. So, congratulations on the purchase. That's doing a wonderful job for you. And, you know, of course, I don't know if you're aware that we have a new international airport. They built it right next to this open. Although I have not visited, I didn't know if you were aware of it. No, I haven't kept up with it. In fact,
Let me try 181 real quick. I'm getting some kind of interference on my end. I got someone broadcasting right on the edge of where I can broadcast 1.7, or excuse me, 1.175. Unfortunately, I don't speak Spanish. Otherwise, I would try a little contact there. Well, correction, I do speak some Spanish, but not enough to. It's 189.75. Sounds like somebody's checking to see if their frequency's in use. So honestly, probably about how I sounded earlier to everyone else, just... Listening on 7.190. I can't make out the call there.
Well, all I can say is I hope you have fun. Anywhere, you know, half as much fun as I do on the HF fans quit.
Oh, Tango India 4 Victor Alpha? Yeah, I was way off on that one. Go back to that. Joe, how well can you hear? Trying any kind of old school filtering I can on that one, because not having a lot of luck pulling him through. Tango India. Is that 4 Victor Alpha? Or is it Tango Lima? Todd, I've got a... Let me turn that down just a little bit. I've got an MFJ, what they call a mini dipole. It is kind of a shorter dipole. It's for 10 through 40 meters. It's up at, or the top of it is at nearly the top of my my tower, but I've got it held off of it with a piece of pretty strong PVC pipe. That way it doesn't really interact with the metal too much on the tower. And then it's kind of in an inverted angle, or inverted V, but the northern side of it is actually a little bit more flatter than the other side. So I'm not entirely sure if that's suggested. It was something that I kind of just tried out to see if it would work. So it's one side's at, say, like a 45 degree angle, the other one's at like a 60 to maybe 70 degree angle, something like that. So it's kind of a off balance inverted V. So I saw a bunch of people that tried different things like that and figured I'd try something out. I've got a lot of metal on the metal buildings around us, so I figured if I got it up a little bit higher, maybe it would work. And a lot of times I overshoot people with my signal, so I figured flattening it out may help a little bit. That kind of flatten out the takeoff angle there. All right, let's see.
The sunspot stuff changes and the bands get better. 20 gets the darn busy, and it'll be great for pounding out some GS and stuff. But
you got that right, Joe. Not everyone's setup is the same. That's for sure. I found that out the hard way. Tonight's definitely an amplifier kind of night. If you want to get through, it is... Man, it is like Walmart on a Saturday. It is just crowded with noise. At least on this end, on my rig it is. Let's see, you said 275 earlier? So what do you guys think about the tower camera, those of you that are still on? Are you thinking keep that in there? I was potentially going to put a radio view or a radio camera just above that one that's actually showing the radio, so that's kind of why it's down in the corner. I don't have the camera for the view of my radio just yet, but I figured I'd have that down there, especially if it's daytime. Looks a lot better than that night shot, but it's just kind of a weather view type camera up there, so... Which I've seen all kinds of things you can do with this OBS program, so I'm really looking forward to trying stuff out as we go here. I'm going to try that 7.275 again. On 7.254.
I've got you about 20 over, so you're hammering it real well.
Yeah, it's 7.254. It's been a long day. Awesome, Todd. I'll have to remember that. Yeah, that's a good thing. That's a good suggestion there, Joe. I'll probably have different scenes that I can do. I'll have a daytime and a nighttime one. Nighttime will just have the radio shots in there. Just kind of checking it out to make sure that it was still streaming. Well, see, I had these guys earlier and they completely just dropped out, so I think that's kind of the theme tonight. See, Todd, I'm probably kind of like you. We're out in the middle of nowhere and there's not a whole lot of light, so even a nighttime would be struggling to show anything. I don't know what that is, but it's strong. I think it's a foreign private station or pirate station or something. That may actually be the carrier channel.
I do like the fish that's hold oyster. I'll get you down. Talk to you later.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, AM. That sounds about right.
Alrighty, Roadside. You have a great evening. It's always a pleasure this time.
Man, we got 5 viewers tonight.
Mike Victor Charlie from W5 PLC 73. Alright, Scott. Appreciate that. And real quick, Tim or Don, can y'all copy Little John in Arkansas? KE5 Mike Victor Charlie.
Alex, how's it going tonight?
Alright, N4TLG KE5 Mike Victor Charlie.
And I feel a little pressure now. We've got Alex in here. This has gotten serious. .275 megahertz. Looks like it's called the Rare Ones of New Orleans. Sounds like a netter group are on tonight. I know I'm missing him too. The bad thing is, I think I got a little spoiled by him being on all over the holidays. Yeah, Alex, I called CQ for a good 30 minutes or so. I'm not sure how much luck you have, but I know I've heard some people call CQ for over an hour and not have anything back. So it just all depends on the band conditions and if anybody's even on that night, which it's a Monday night, so better. Which technically this was going to just be a test stream for 5 or 10 minutes, and you guys see how long it's turned into.
N5WXW-CQ and W5PLT, the rare ones here in New Orleans. Alright, John, take care of yourself.
Well, thank you so much for stopping in, Alex. Like I said, you guys... Let me turn that down. Look, sounds like they got a net going on. Yeah, Alex, thanks for stopping in. I was telling everybody else, Todd and Joe in the group here, everybody that's listening. I was kind of saying you guys are helping me kind of get this put together. So thank you for stopping in there before you head off to bed tonight. Again, it's all coming together. I'm gonna get some more camera views, get a view of the radio so you can see what frequency I'm on. I'm on 7.275 right now, and get one of myself as well. Oops. Sorry about that, guys. If that was loud, I hit the mic there. Yeah, right up on the edge of the frequency here. If I heard that correctly, somebody was saying they were trying to get a couple contacts, so... Alex, it's an old school Icom 725 from the early 90s. It was my first radio, and so far it's been my only radio. But hopefully I'll get something a little bit more modern, something in the 7300 range here sometime soon. And still use this one. It's been great digital-wise, and I made a lot of voice contacts on it in the U.S. and across the pond, as they would say, as well. So it's served me well to be only 100 watts and be from the early 90s. So Joe, I'm just imagining that. I bet you'd have a heart attack if you had your 7300 and a cup of coffee around. I'd keep those two at a distance, that's for sure. Also, thank you to our 5 people. That sounds like, looks. I'm seeing 5 people. Thank you, Alex. Glad everything looks great so far. I'm just gonna keep improving it every time I get on here until it gets to the point that I'm like, all right, you know what? Let's just leave it at that. So, always room for improvement, though. That was 7.287. I think I'm gonna come back to that in a minute and see if those guys are still on. I think I was just hearing one side of that conversation, though. We'll go back here real quick. Just scan back on down. And these radios are just, I think they're awesome. Now, yes, I would love something with a waterfall and something that's got a display on it with a kind of, I guess you could call it a spectrum analyzer. Give you a live SWR rather than having to jump through hoops to grab see if your antenna's doing good or not, you know? Yeah, 40's just not in my favor tonight. There we go.
I got a new amplifier on order. I ordered me an ACOM 1000. It should be here in about 3 weeks.
Yeah, I wish I had one on order as well. Yeah, I've heard that 7300 is the way to go. That's interesting. I'll have to look up the FT840. I'm not familiar with that one. I know about the TS440. I think this is a station I heard earlier, right on 175. I mean, Todd, what's going on with your truck, man? I'm pretty mechanically inclined over here. If you got any questions on that, I'm sure you probably are as well, but...
There was a couple nights it was really, and every night's different, you know. There was one night the guys
Now let's go back up to that 287, see if anybody. Yeah, I think somebody's on AM. Yeah, I'm kind of trying to decide, and you guys tell me what you think. Which one would you rather, if you had the funds to invest in, would you go with investing in a receiver or a transceiver or radio, or would you go with a really great or a great antenna? So basically, if you had $1,000, would you spend it towards a radio or towards an antenna? Which one do you think would make the most difference? My answer would be both, but that's not possible in my case. I wish. Just out of curiosity. Antenna? What Todd, what kind of truck do you have? Like, what's the year model and all that info on it? You know, Joe, that's a really good point. I know I worked my first field day that I worked, we had a tri-beam up like 50, 60 feet on a portable tower that a medical institute had, I believe, for their emergency communications, and they let us borrow it. But that tri-beam was just, I mean, for field day, we could turn it in Hawaii's direction and reach out and touch them just about, it felt like. So if I could, I agree with you on that one. I'd love to have a great antenna like that. So I got, like I said, I got the setup. I got a tower for it. It's just got to get one to put up there. Yeah, it's also another side of it there, Todd. Yeah, I guess that's another side. If you had a really good radio, you could, a lot of people have videos of just throwing a, say like a 40-meter resonant wire out and making a bunch of contacts with it, but that's more of kind of a QRP or portable type setup, though.
I appreciate it, Scott. Thanks for coming out. We're turning N5WXW-CQ for 73, Don.
These guys are down in New Orleans or Louisiana area. Like I said, it's called the Rare Ones in New Orleans. Let's see. Let me look at the About Us. I've never heard them on here, but they're on 7.275. They've been on a good while. Their website goes back to 2017 as far as their posts, so it's pretty cool. I can't hear a lot of the stations on there, though. 2004 F-250 Super Duty 6.0. I mean, oil pressure bottoming out at idle. I mean, does it show what PSI it's at? Because normally whenever it warms up, you get a really low oil pressure. Like my small block 350, it gets down to about 15 to 20 PSI at idle, and then you rev it a little bit and it gets up to 50 or 60. Now, if you're getting like near zero oil pressure, that's totally different. That's a big problem. But in putting an oil pump on the bottom of those they'll probably have to lift it up and take the oil pan out from the bottom of it. I don't think they'll have to pull the motor in order to do that, but it may be, that could be interesting depending on what shop you get to do it, or what, you know, individual you get to do it. So the actual part itself shouldn't be too bad. Oil pumps are not that expensive. It's just getting to them because they're on the bottom of the motor.
Always helping with the relay and that. Thank everybody that joined us tonight, taking time to come out. It certainly was a pleasure. And we'll say Les Bonton Roulette from downtown New Orleans. And hopefully we'll see you guys again tomorrow.
Love that Cajun accent.
This is N5WXW with all the Ram ones here in New Orleans. Returning the frequency back to normal amateur radio use. 73 all.
And that is a classy group right there.
Adios. Arrivederci.
All right, guys.
Good night, brother. Stand up there down in the parish.
Well, it is a little after 9. I think I'm going to go spend a little time with my wife for a little while. Probably go watch a movie or something like that. But I really, really enjoyed having you guys on tonight. And I hate to cut it short because the conversation's going so well. I guess we could all swap over to Discord. By the way, if you're watching this and you're not in our Discord channel, actually trying to think of the best way to do it. Actually, you know what? Go to my Twitter. Look up N5WXW or Vince Webb on Twitter. There is a link in there for the Discord channel for K5YVYs, or Kilo 5 Yankee Victor Yankees Discord channel that we've had a lot of fun in here lately. So if you guys want to join us over there, if you're one of our viewers that's not in that Discord channel, shoot me an email. Let me know. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or as my father likes to call it, the Instaface Tweet Gram Book, which is all of the above. So 73 to everyone. Thank you for joining tonight. This was an hour and almost 8 minutes of there we go. K5YVY has got the Discord channel in the comment section there. So if you're listening, watching, and and not in the Discord channel, get in there and have a chat with us. It's a whole lot of fun. Everyone's welcome. Hams, non-hams, all that kind of good stuff. So anyways, 73 everyone. Good night to everyone. Again, really enjoyed it. We'll have to do this a lot more often. This is getting me really excited to keep doing this. So Alex, Joe, Todd, everyone else that's in here, good night guys. Y'all have a wonderful night, and I will catch you on Discord.